The following program is sponsored by the Building Wisconsin Television Network.
Welcome to another episode of Building Wisconsin. I'm Stuart Keith, and on today's show, we're meeting with members of Steamfitters Local 601 to learn more about HVAC service. So let's get started with Doug Edwards from Local 601. Well, Doug, here we are, another show with the Steamfitters. And you know, when I think about the steam fitting trade, I'm always amazed at how diverse it is. I mean, we've seen a lot of different aspects of it on Building Wisconsin.
Well, you're right, Stu. You've seen us at Miller Coors Brewery, where our Steamfitters not only maintain the equipment, but they install the piping systems that the beer runs through. So they're not only keeping the beer cold, they're getting the beer running out into the barrels and the cans. We also have our members that work on the pipeline. And they not only install the new pipelines, but they maintain those pipelines to keep them safe.
Sure, and so a lot of people, the steam fitters, they don't quite know what they do, but they keep fluids moving, including beer, including natural gas, petroleum. They really help add to our quality of life here. And another facet is this HVAC service side, and that's why we're out here at Dillett. So touch on what that entails.
Well, HVAC service includes the installation, the startup, the troubleshooting, the preventive maintenance, the diagnosis, and the service of heating, ventilation, and air conditioning equipment, along with servicing and installing the equipment that controls those systems.
Oh, that sounds pretty complicated. I gotta believe training plays a huge role in the professionals that work here.
Yes, it is. It's a training that they get as an apprentice, and it's the years of continuing education that we offer our members.
So you're really providing them highly skilled, highly trained steam fitters to perform this, and they can rest assured they're gonna be trained properly when they come to work here.
Well, exactly, and the great thing about it is, as they need more manpower, we can provide more manpower, and if they don't need that manpower, we'll make sure that those individuals have work at another company.
Okay, so Dillett is just one of many signatory contractors that you guys have. How many are in southeastern Wisconsin?
Well, Local 601 represents about 35 contractors that do this HVAC in southern Wisconsin, and they employ about 103 refrigeration service apprentices that are currently in our program.
Wow, so you know, as I go around the state, people always love to talk about the different shows that we've done, and I'm amazed that still a lot of people don't know exactly what a steam fitter does. So I mean, this is just another facet of it. It's so diverse. And what I like best about it is you guys continue to invest in the training, and you built a phenomenal training center in Madison, and as I understand it, you're adding on to the training center here in Milwaukee.
Well, Stu, that is the plan. It is the plan to add on to that training center. With all the things coming, all the new technology, training is our number one goal. Be the best trained and the most skilled out there.
And you know what I love getting the message out there is the way those training centers are funded. The members actually invest in these training centers. They pay for it. There's no tax dollars going to these training centers.
No, you're absolutely right, Stu. The members, not only do they decide to build training centers, but they also decide to fund them too.
So to me, it really seems like it's a partnership between your contractors and your members.
Well, Stu, it actually is a partnership. It's a partnership in the training and the reinvestment into our industry.
And so when we talk about reinvesting, I mean, they might be paying dues, but those dues are going to protect the future, to really raise the quality of life here in Wisconsin, because a highly trained, highly skilled workforce, courtesy of those training centers, is what really helps us all.
Oh, exactly. You know, I trained at an older training center years ago, and I was very thankful to have that opportunity. And through my career, I've got to be part of building several training centers to train the next group of steam fitters, and it makes me very proud.
Okay, so if I want to become a welder or any trade for that matter, what is the difference in training through a technical college versus training through, say, 601?
Well, if you go to a technical college, you're going to go to school, and then you're going to get a job. We take that a little bit further. At Local 601, you're going to start an apprenticeship, and you're going to start training, and you're going to start working right away. And you're going to earn while you learn, and it's all going to be hands-on, along with the things that you would get at a technical college. So our members get that college training, they get those labs, but they also get real on-the-job training.
Yeah, and just common sense tells me that 1 year versus a 5-year apprenticeship with the organized trades, I mean, you're going to be much more specialized and more thoroughly trained, and I'm sure it's going to be reflected in the pay scale when you're done.
Oh, exactly. You know, that's why our HVAC techs usually make a little bit more than what the going rate is.
Yeah, sure. Well, you know, the organized trades model of training and providing highly skilled professionals for area contractors, it's been around for a very long time here in Wisconsin. It's been very successful. I mean, why do you think it's so successful?
Well, I think because there's a lot of winners in it at the end of the day. You have the apprentice that gets trained and gets not only a career, but a family supporting job. You got a contractor, an employer that gets the manpower they need and trained the way they need them and the way they want them trained. And then you get the customer who gets a great value in having a highly trained, skilled technician service and work on their equipment.
Yeah, and I'd say even beyond those three entities you just mentioned, we in Wisconsin as the residents, our quality of life is much better because of the organized trades and all the training and the workforce that they provide. And we should be thankful for that. So I appreciate you coming on, introducing the HVAC service side. Right now, I'm going to catch up with Howard from Dillett and learn more about what they do.
Sounds good. Thanks, Stu.
Well, Howard, looks like Jeff is hard at work over there.
He is. He's sharing up some stuff he's working on for fab.
And you say fab, is this the Dillett prefab shop then?
It is. It's our sheet metal prefab shop. Correct.
Do you find that prefabrication has become more common, say, than 10 years ago?
Yes, it's a lot easier to get things fabbed in a shop where you have benches to work on. They're at the correct height. You have the tools needed, and it's just easier on your body for sure.
Well, you know, I love to see an industry that continues to evolve. And what is some of the prefabrication going on? I mean, what are some of the projects you guys are working on?
Jeff's working on some intake silencers for a fan to knock the noise down so the customer can't hear the fan running.
Sure.
We're working on a local hotel where they're remodeling their lobby, and it's all glass enclosure. So it's a little challenging in order to get heating and air conditioning into some areas.
Oh, the heat gain, if it's big, if I'm envisioning it right, nice big windows.
Yes, a lot of heat gain in there.
So again, earlier in the show, you know, I talked to Doug and I say I'm always blown away by the diversity of the steam fitting field. And there's a great case in point. I mean, every day, is it fair to say it's different and more challenging?
It is different every day, and you come up with some unique challenges and unique situations, which makes it fun.
How long have you been working here at Dillon?
Almost 13 years.
Yeah, you pretty happy working here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What's the best part? I mean, why do you come in?
Family. It's a family-owned company, and they treat you like part of the family, and each employee is treated like a family member.
Really? And when you say family, literally it is the Dillett family, and a number of the family members still work here.
Yes, quite a few family members work here.
It started about, what, 1996?
Correct. About 20-some years ago. Yes, Mike Dillett started it. He started it from his house, actually.
From his house, and look at how it's grown. I mean,
yes.
I was blown away by how many service vehicles you have there. You're one of the larger ones in the greater Milwaukee area.
Correct. For service, yes, we are.
Well, it's going to be awesome because today I get to visit a couple of those projects.
Yes, you'll be going to the hotel we just talked about. Tom Dillett's going to take you there, and then Jim Dillett's going to take you down to the Wisconsin Center District where some chillers were installed.
Well, I love seeing tradespeople in action, and today we get to look at the steam fitters out at those two fabulous projects. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule and walking us through the Dillett manufacturing facility.
I appreciate it, Stu. Thank you.
Are you ready for a career choice that rewards you for your hard work, compensates you for your knowledge and willingness to learn, pays you more money, provides better benefits, and offers a comfortable retirement? Then contact your local Steamfitters 601 Training Center and attend our next trade orientation. You'll learn about our complete 5-year apprenticeship program that's designed to help you progress from the basic on-the-job skills to the top of the welding and HVAC service industry. You also don't need a big down payment to start your steam fitter training. Just a good work ethic that includes showing up on time, working hard, and working smart. And better yet, you're well paid through your apprenticeship, and you earn more as you learn more. So make a career choice that's full of rewards and contact Steamfitters Local 601 today for more information.
Welcome back to Building Wisconsin. I'm Stuart Keith, and so far in today's show, we've been learning about HVAC service with members of Steamfitters Local 601. Now let's catch up with our contractor, Dillett Mechanical, to see some steam fitters in action at a couple of Milwaukee area projects. Well, Tom, we're up here on top of it looks like a new addition to the Best Western here in Milwaukee, and heck, I gotta tell you, it was challenging just getting up here through that little porthole window.
Yeah, Stu, we find that a lot of times in this business that sometimes the challenges begin before you even get to the job site.
Sure, and some of the guys back at the shop were telling me that, hey, it's a great project to showcase the skills of the steam fitters in action, but it's very challenging as well. So let's begin with that, some of the challenging aspects of this.
Absolutely. So when you talk about an old building from the 60s, and you say, how do we take this and renovate it to make it efficient and operate so everybody's comfortable and you actually suit the need of the customer, coming up with those types of solutions, a lot of times you have to have a relationship with the customer to be able to do that. You invest some time, you work with the customer, figure out what they need, what you can provide them, and you work with them all the way through the process. So being able to find out where this unit would actually sit, how we're going to bring the ductwork down, that was all a process that had to be figured out before the fact.
Sure, because as I look around, this looks to be like a new addition, actually. And if I'm understanding it correctly, below us is more like a carport drive-through. I mean, the building itself, this heating and cooling unit's going to have to be vented out that way.
Yes, absolutely. It was really the only spot we could go to accomplish what we had to do. But being able to figure out logistically how to make that work really, it was a combined effort between us, the vendors, the owners, all of them.
Well, and it's a great showcase of their abilities to tackle a unique project. I mean, just to have it plumbed, it looks like they're running some gas pipeline out here right now.
Yep. Brought that out from inside the lobby. They come out this hole here, working in conjunction with the other trades, making sure when they brought all this stuff together that we're coming out in the right spot. We're not going to be hanging out over here, so we had to work together with them to figure out their timeline and make sure that it was going to work with them.
Sure.
Bring it out here, make sure there's enough gas pressure on this to serve the amount of BTUs this unit needs to actually heat in the wintertime. The gas line's large enough. Have a T in here for future expansion, just in case there's something else you want to add. You don't have to go through the whole process all over again.
Sure.
So a lot of thought process that way.
So as I look at this is obviously heating and cooling, and here's where it's going to have to be ducted in. So how's that going to work?
So they're going to actually have to come down here. This is supply air, this X you see here. You have to cut this hole out. Here's the return air. You're going to have to cut this hole out. And from there, you're going to have to actually build a piece of ductwork and transition that up to come up through this opening here. The same thing to return. You're going to come through there. You're going to bring that down all the way over here and come back down through here. So once that's all accomplished and fabricated and installed, it has to be flashed around and sealed so it's watertight.
Sure, and what a great case in point of where we were at earlier, back at your shop, of the prefabrication. I assume that's where they're doing all this? I mean, prefabbing all the ductwork for the rooftop unit back at your shop.
Absolutely.
Makes it a little more efficient to install and probably a better end result for the customer?
Yes, 100%. The fact that they're able to do that and put that together at the shop makes it so much more efficient for us to install. Also, the fact that they're able to figure out all the challenges they may have before they even get to this point. It's not an issue where you're working on the fly. You already know what you need. You're able to install this. Make sure that you can get proper airflow to the unit. You can predict a lot of things that might be a challenge before they even are. Only with trained professionals can you do something like this. Sometimes you can really lose money on a job very quickly if you don't know how to measure this, prefab it. If you're trying to come here, measure one piece, go down, fabricate it, come back up, it adds a lot of time to the job. So having trained guys like we do, that we're very blessed and fortunate to have these people that know how to do this and make a really clean installation. And ultimately, if you don't do this properly, the unit's not going to work as well either.
And then back to the service side, you know, I just can't help but imagine a 100-degree day here in Milwaukee, or conversely, a 30 below day. That's always seems to be the case. When something's going to fail or have issues, hey, get out here and fix my air conditioner or my furnace. That's got to be a bear for the tradespeople that come out to work here from the HVAC service side of the industry.
Absolutely. It's one of those things that's typically in the extremes. When we're the busiest, some of these guys are working 12, 13 hours a day in the heat. They really have to be their own advocate as far as safety when it comes to getting hydrated, making sure that they're not getting overexposed to the sun, and also being able to think clearly when you're on a job like this, when you're trying to make the repair. So it's a difficult trade that way, but it's very rewarding. At the end of the day, sometimes that's something you look forward to going back and doing again.
Sure, and it's never the same. I got to believe that each installation is unique to the application.
Always something different, always a different location. That's one thing we love about doing service, is that we always get to go to these cool buildings, see different applications, meet new people. That's one thing I enjoy the most, meeting new people and developing these relationships that last a lifetime.
Sure, and then when you drive through town, you have the pride of looking up and going, I take care of that rooftop unit, or I take care of that building, heating and cooling.
And a lot of the cool museums, like the Charles Allis, the Villa Terrace Art Museum that we've been in, we get to see this history of how it used to be done, but then we're still servicing it today. So I never would have saw that museum behind the scenes if I hadn't worked in the trades.
And at the end of the day, is it fair to say the success of your business is dependent on the training that they get through Local 601?
100%. 8,000 some hours of training that we have to go through, 5 years of schooling, on the job and off the job, to actually get to the point where you can actually be called a journeyman through the Local 601. We really rely on that training so much because it's a uniform system. The guys come through school, they actually have to take all the same classes that we know they're learning everything that's pertinent to what we're actually out there servicing. So it's so much easier to provide value to the customer and have a repeatable result because of it.
Sounds to me as though these highly skilled tradespeople, they're the key to your success as a business owner.
100%. Yeah, we couldn't do anything without them. They're the reason we're successful, and we really try to make sure we take care of them like family, and also make sure that we're looking forward to their career and their future. So we're trying to advance them as they come through. Take care of exactly where they're going in the future as well, and make sure they can retire with us if that's what they choose to do.
Sure. Well, what I love about visiting this rooftop application is the show is focused around HVAC service, but as we're learning, just because it has service in the name doesn't mean there isn't new installations involved in the trade.
It seems like it's one and the same. If you work with a customer, you have a relationship with them, where they trust you to actually give them advice on a new project they're doing, you're going to get the service on that unit for years to come. And that's why we stand behind everything we do, to make sure if there's any kind of problems that we're taking care of the customer right up front so we can keep taking care of them for years to come.
Well, with an attitude like that and just the whole process that I'm seeing here, it's no wonder you guys are so successful. I appreciate you showing us this renovation project.
It's been my pleasure, Stu.
Well, Jim, here at the Wisconsin Center, I gotta say, I've been in a lot of heating and cooling plants, but this is spectacular. I love how everything's all painted and color-coded.
This is the central utility plant for the Wisconsin Center. This is where all the air conditioning from the building is basically produced with this equipment right here.
Well, when we were walking through and I was admiring all the work that has been done, you kept mentioning about how these chillers are running and you hope it isn't too noisy. Well, let's step back and explain what a chiller is and actually how it cools the building.
Sure. So basically what we're doing is we're chilling water to actually cool the building. So the chill water that's produced in the chiller is pumped out to coils in the air handlers, and then the building air is circulated across those air handlers in order to remove the heat from the building.
Okay, now you said these are the chillers themselves?
Yep.
Okay, so how does this chiller actually operate? It sounds like there's a great big motor in there.
There's 4 major components to refrigeration cycle. There's the compressor, there's the condenser, the evaporator, and then there's a metering device. So basically what we're doing is transferring heat. So as that chill water absorbs heat in the air handlers, it's pumped back to the chiller. The chiller is going to absorb the heat out of that chill water through the refrigeration cycle, and as that heat's absorbed into the chiller, it's going to be transferred to the condenser, and from there is a whole other cycle. There's the water from the cooling towers that's pumped through the condensers that removes the heat that's been absorbed into the chiller, and then it's rejected out of the cooling towers on the roof.
Wow, that sounds so incredibly complex.
Yep.
And to me, that states the importance to the training that a steam fitter needs to have in order to work in buildings like this and on equipment like this.
It takes many years to really learn and get to the point where you're able to work on a system that has this many moving parts to it, and just the liability of working on something like this. Mistakes can be very costly if you don't have the proper training.
Jim, I just marvel at all the different piping here and all the different fluids that are flowing through it.
Well, you got chill water piping here, you got cooling tower water piping, there's steam piping, condensate piping. A lot of it's done with different processes, whether it's Victolic or it's threaded or it's welded. There's a lot of different processes to put all this whole piping system together.
And again, that's all the role of steam fitters, is to keep fluids flowing on a job site and at the end result in a facility like this?
Well, yeah, I mean, all this stuff, to have it piped correctly, to have all the piping, sized to the proper size and have the correct flow rates through the chiller, it's all critical to having it operating properly.
Everything seems to be highly monitored, temperature, pressure.
Yep.
You don't want any of this to ever fail. And today's show, we want to learn more about the HVAC service side of a steam fitter's career. And fortunately, it looks like we have Mike here doing some service.
Mike's working on doing a mid-season inspection, so this is part of our maintenance agreement with the Wisconsin Center. So he's going through and he's checking the refrigerant pressures, saturated temperatures for those given refrigerant pressures, voltages, amperages. So we're able to take all that information and basically figure whether or not the chiller is running properly and if it's running efficiently.
Yeah, because I gotta believe that there's redundancy built into the system, because the size of this facility, being an entertainment or conference center, you have thousands of people here. You don't want, on a hot summer day, the air conditioning system to fail.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, the Wisconsin Center is bringing in clients that are having shows here, and they absolutely have to provide air conditioning in a comfortable environment.
Well, it's been great being out here at the Wisconsin Center, and when I look at the size of these chilling systems, these chillers in action, I think about what do they provide? They provide indoor air comfort, and if you have a comfortable living environment, you have a high quality of life, and because of these steam fitters performing their jobs on a daily basis, we have a high quality of life here in Wisconsin. Thanks for coming on and sharing it with us.
Thank you.
For more information on Building Wisconsin, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and be sure to watch additional episodes on YouTube or at our website, buildingwisconsintv.com. The preceding program was sponsored by the Building Wisconsin Television Network. Are you ready for a career choice that rewards you for your hard work, compensates you for your knowledge and willingness to learn, pays you more money, provides better benefits, and offers a comfortable retirement? Then contact your local Steamfitters 601 Training Center and attend our next trade orientation. You'll learn about our complete 5-year apprenticeship program that's designed to help you progress from the basic on-the-job skills to the top of the welding and HVAC service industry. You also don't need a big down payment to start your steam fitter training. Just a good work ethic that includes showing up on time, working hard, and working smart. And better yet, you're well paid through your apprenticeship, and you earn more as you learn more. So make a career choice that's full of rewards and contact Steamfitters Local 601 today for more information.